Hi, I'm Tara.
And I'm Misty.
And this is the
Handmade
Handmade Podcast. Welcome. This is our very first episode, and we wanted to tell you a little bit about us and what we hope to do with the podcast, what we're knitting, and the adventures we are having in stash building. So Misty, tell us about yourself.
My name is Misty. You can find me as Misty on Ravelry and Instagram and Pinterest. I have been knitting for about 5 years or so. My friend Jen said, let's have a new hobby. And so we went to Michael's and bought the stuff, and I think she took hers back a week later, and I had a new hobby. And so I played around online and found me some videos and took a class at a local shop, and it kind of just went from there. And I've been knitting ever since, and I've been dyeing for about a year. I'm really starting to get into that a little more. I've been spinning for about a year. I put that on hold, and I'm looking forward to getting into that some more this year. I have been sewing since I was about a teenager, and I've scrapbooked since I've been married, about 14 years. And I did it with when I had my children were young, and it got to be where it was just too much. I couldn't keep up, and so I put it on hold and recently started Project Life. And I put that on hold when we moved, and hopefully we'll see if I have time to pick that back up this year. But I'd like to go back to Project Life. That was fun to keep up with everything that we were doing, week by week. So
yeah,
that's a little about me.
Awesome. So I've been knitting for 10 years, and I know the amount of time I've been knitting because it's how long I've been married. We actually have our 10-year anniversary this Thursday.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. So I joke that I say I started knitting because I was bored with being married, because it was just like going from being full-time in college and working full-time to then only working 40 hours a week and having no other school. Seemed like we had all this time, and Jay wanted to watch movies and watch TV, and I was just really bored. But the real reason I started is because Debbie Stoller, author of Stitch and Bitch, came to our local bookstore, and I read her magazine Bust. And so I went to listen to her speak, and she spoke all about knitting, and she made it sound so fabulous that I was like, okay, I want to start that. So I bought her book, and I had her sign it there at that book signing. And I went home, and that's when I learned about the crafty internet. She talks about Knitty, and she talked about Craftster, which is like a forums of people sharing their projects, asking questions on all crafts. And that really got me into it. That was like 2004. So the idea that I could connect with other crafters, even though I didn't know any in real life, sparked me to be like obsessive. And like then you read about all the yarns and all the projects. And so I started dyeing almost right after I started knitting, about like 3 or 4 months later, because everybody was doing it. They were dyeing with Kool-Aid, and I was like, this is so easy. And actually I don't think I've told you this, my very first blog post of any like knitting blog I ever kept was pictures of the yarn drying in my bathroom. Like, it's such a bad picture, like bad lighting. You can see the toilet and you can see the yarn over the thing. It was just really, really ghetto. And so then I just a couple months after that, I guess this was 2005, towards the end of 2005, I went to a yarn store with my hand-dyed yarn, and the owner said, where did you get that fabulous yarn? And I said, oh, I dyed it myself. And I was just there to match up another yarn with that project, but she said, I have some white yarn, could you dye for me? And I said, yeah, even though I had no idea I could do it. I'd never done it other than like single skeins for my own use. So she gave me a bunch of yarn. I took it home. I bought the dyes. I started dyeing, and that is how my business began, Blonde Chicken Boutique. And it took me a while to figure out how to actually sell it to people, and start a shop. And so I officially started in 2006, and by 2009, I'd grown it to the point where I could quit my boring secretary day job. And then that was my full-time business. But I found in doing that, all these people were coming up and asking me at craft shows, like, how did you do it? How did you get started? How did you start selling? That I really had a great time talking to them. So I started writing more and more about the business side of things because I was obsessive. And I was enrolled in an MBA program, but it was like all middle managers, people who wanted to like manage their own chain of fast food restaurants. This is what the program was aimed at. So I realized that wasn't teaching me what I needed to know, but I was writing and sharing everything I was learning with other small businesses, and eventually that became my full-time job. I wrote a book called Market Yourself with Cooperative Press, and now I teach and consult with businesses full-time, and thankfully knitting and spinning is back to just being my hobby, which has made it so much more fun, because I have a big gap in my knitting from when I was spinning full-time knitting just wasn't fun. It was work anymore, you know? So, so that's knitting and spinning and dyeing. And then I also quilt, and I get like obsessive every winter. I will make 2 to 3 quilts like all at once. And then the warm weather comes and I do not want to be under a quilt anymore. Because I machine piece, but I hand quilt. Like, and I love to sit on the couch with a quilt over me, hand quilting. But in the warm weather, no, I don't like it. So, and I started Project Life like a year and a half ago, and it's fun, but I am a little bit behind. I have everything printed. I just need to put it all together. Of course, that's a little harder to show in a video podcast. But the reason we named it the Handmade Podcast is because we like to make all kinds of things: knitting, spinning, dyeing, quilting, scrapbooking, and sewing. You actually make bags. I don't really sew anything other than quilts. But we want to share all that with you. We hope to have new episodes every 2 weeks. We also want to take you along when we go to local fiber events. We have like fiber festivals and yarn shop owners we want to interview. We're actually going to take you on tours of yarn shops when we travel, and also to a few of the local shops. We don't have that many. They're actually kind of a drive away.
Yeah.
All the yarn shops.
But we want to do retreats, and we want to do the fiber mill. I want to go to the fiber mill. I'm so excited to see how they do everything and their processes and everything.
Actually, at that thing I was at this last weekend, the Camelid conference, it was all alpaca and llama fibers, farmers getting together and talking about how to make their fiber their business. There was one of the mills there, and they showed a video of how the mill works. Like the roving going in and becoming yarn. It was amazing. And as we were watching it, Jay said, "This reminds me of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood." And I was like, and I told him, I was like, "This is the video we want on our podcast."
Yeah, that's great.
So we will show you how yarn is made, especially at small mills and small farmers. And there's a big history of fiber arts in East Tennessee, so I'm sure we're going to find tons of people to talk to.
Oh, yeah.
But now tell us about your adventures in Stash Enhancement.
I won some needles this week. I was really excited. I got these off of the Dyer's Notebook forum in Ravelry, and I will not be able to pronounce her name, but her name is Jen, and she posted a giveaway, and all you had to do was post the picture of your sock works in progress, and then they drew my name, and I could choose any needles I wanted to, up to a $20 value. And it was awesome because I had these up on my iPad. I've been stalking these. I made myself put them off because I have socks on the needles, and I wanted to wait until I was done and ready to cast on more before ordering these. But I got some collage squares, 6-inch, size 1 double points. And these look absolutely amazing. They are super duper pointy.
They're actually square.
They're square. And I love it that they have the information printed right on the needle. I don't know if you can see that, but I never have to wonder what size if they get mixed up. These are going to be size 1, 2.25 millimeter. And yeah, I can't wait to try them out. But that end is like prick your finger pointy. I don't know how that'll be. I mean, if you have splitty yarn, you could probably forget it. But
yeah,
otherwise, I think it'll be awesome.
And you've been saying you have wrist pain.
I do. I've been having some wrist pain, and these are the package says designed to be ergonomically suited to your hands, decreasing stress and strain for those who love to knit. So hopefully that'll just be perfect for me, and I found a new needle brand. But I love needles. I love to hear about what other people like. I want to try out all the different kinds of sock needles because it seems like, more so with any other project, that you really need a good needle to knit socks. Because I tried Addi Turbos. Let's see, no, Sock Rockets.
Yeah.
Addi Sock Rockets, and I was really disappointed because the joint's not very good on one of them. And I've heard another podcaster say lately, I don't forget who it was, that they had a problem with the join too. So, but yeah, I want to try knitting with double points. So far I've tried with Magic Loop, and I've tried I'm currently knitting with 2 Circs, and so I'm a pretty new sock knitter, and so I want to try with double points and really see what my favorite is and kind of just go from there.
Yeah. So Misty loves to know about needles, and she made me promise that from here on out I will pay attention to my needles, because there's not a good place. Ravelry doesn't ask you what brand you're using. Of course, you can put it in the notes. So I'm knitting socks on these with Magic Loop, and I have no idea what these are, but you can see how kinked up the the cord is gotten, and the join totally is like taking a right-hand turn. So it's such a pain to pull it past that. But I've already knit the first sock, and so I don't want to mess up my gauge by switching to another kind of sock for the second one. And also, I just throw these in my purse, so that's why I've kind of ruined them, is because I wasn't very careful with them. And maybe you can tell me what they are. I don't know, because I don't ever keep the packaging. I just put it in my needle thing, which that's something we're going to share in a future episode, is needle organization.
Yes.
Because we have different systems. Misty's much more organized. And but maybe you can tell me, the cord is kind of goldish, and the needles themselves are goldish. I've curved it, which I don't know if you'll be able to see.
I did that with mine too.
Yeah, so that's not very high quality. But what I did get is for my next pair of socks, which I'm casting on this week with new yarn, Chiagu knit red lace. I kept the packaging for Misty, and because I've already taken them out of the packaging, and they're 32-inch size 1. Their cords are amazing. I'll show you next week pictures of it. But Ruth of the Rock and Pearl podcast recently showed, like, you can crimp them, you can pinch them, you can tie them in knots. They immediately slide out. The cord is just totally different, and they're really lightweight. So I'm excited. Those are good needles. But also, to keep me from just throwing my stuff, the other new thing I've acquired is this cute bag. Misty made it for me out of fabric. The fabric is Heather Ross from her Briar Rose collection. I think this colorway is pink. This fabric is called Hex Bee. Can you see the adorable hexagons? They're so cute. And the little bees. I don't know if you can see the bee. She's floating around in the hexagons. And it is lined on the inside with a Briar Rose strawberry fabric, which I was obsessed with. So I bought this fabric not knowing what to do it with. It's kind of girly and baby-like for a quilt, and I don't have a baby, and I'm not that girly, but to make an all-pink quilt for my house. But so when Misty showed me the bags she makes, I knew I needed one, and this fabric would be perfect. So she made it. You can see it's got this great handle. It's got this, which I'm going to get like a carabiner so that I can hook it onto my purse. It's got a pocket on the inside. It's all double stitched and top stitched and fancy stitching I don't even know anything about. And look, it's got a bee zipper pull. Can you see that adorable bee? I'm so excited. So this is...
Glad you like it.
I do. This is way beyond my skill, so I'm amazed at the bags that she makes. And we'll be showing you those because our projects will be inside of them. And hopefully this will save future needles from getting crimped up, because I will actually be putting them in bags and not just throwing it in my purse. But that's it for my stash acquisition. How about you? What are you oh yeah, you have that.
Since we're talking about bags, I'll go ahead and show you the one I made for myself this week. I'm trying out a new size, and this one's itty bitty.
So cute.
It's for, I wanted to have a little something for my purse for socks, and the size that was Tara's bag is about the size I usually make, and so this is a lot smaller. And this still has a little pocket on the inside. So I did it in a little dot pattern. It's still lined. It has the little loop right there, and then a little handle right here, and the zipper pull and all that, and the square bottom. And so yeah, I just wanted,
Let's see
and
if
so
it does.
it fits. So yeah, I'm gonna have me some socks in my little sock monkey fabric. I thought it was cute.
It's so cute. It's adorable. And it's like just the right size if you carry a normal size purse. I carry a ginormous purse, so that big bag totally fits in it. But when you have multiple projects and you're traveling, it's nice to have different bags for different.
Yeah, my next size is going to be sweater size, because I have the project I'm working on now, I have it in a little just tote kind of bag, and it spills out on the floor every time I set it down. And so yeah, I need a nice big sweater bag.
Yeah. So show us what you're working on.
I am working on the Hero Cardigan by Julia Farewell Clay. And I've attached the sleeves. Let's see if I can hold it back here. I've attached the sleeves. This is out of Barocco Vintage, and their colorways just have numbers. So I did navy on the sleeves, stranded work, and I did it on the hem.
So pretty.
And this is my first stranded work project, and I really choked the yarn on the sleeves. They're kind of tight, but they still fit okay, and it doesn't look really bad, so I just kind of, even though it kind of bugs me, I left it. And then I've already started on the color work on the yoke, and I'm doing a teal color next, and then I'm going to do... After the teal comes the navy again, and then a burgundy. So I think that's going to make for a pretty sweater. And another podcaster, which I've just remembered, I think it's the one that just stopped podcasting. She took a break. Sorry, I forgot the name of it, but she has a cute little basset hound. Oh, I can't believe I can't think of her name. So sorry. But anyway, she did one out of this color, this green color, and it made me think of, I had did another sweater in a cardigan in green, and I had some left over, and so I went and just kind of bought some more and cast it on.
That's a beautiful color. That's
yeah.
It reminds me of the hills that are outside of your window.
I have a very pretty view over here. We'll have to...
We're looking at the mountains. We didn't say this. We're located in East Tennessee.
Yeah.
We're in the Appalachian Mountains, and it's beautiful. We will show you. You actually have a video on your Instagram. Your Misty Dot on Instagram. This video of these sheep running across the hills,
yes,
across the street from her.
Like just down the road, there's like a little farm, but all behind the few houses that are across from me is grazing pastures, and so the sheep come all the way down the road to this pasture across the street from my house, and I just love to watch them and hear the babies and the mamas back and forth. It's just super sweet. And we were on our way out the other day, and I happened to catch some coming in. I guess it was feeding time or something, because they were coming in all at one time, and they were all talking to each other, and it was just really cool. I stopped the car in the middle of the road and like took a little short video just to listen to them. So it was really neat.
Yeah, so you can watch that on our Instagram. We'll also put in some videos soon of the adorable sheep. So my project that I'm working on is Jaywalkers, which, I'm just past the cuff, so you can't really see. It's got a chevron pattern. This pattern is old, like from 2006, 2007 by Grumperina. There'll be a link for everything below the video. And I'm making it with socks that rock in the punk rock colorway. You can see it's got gorgeous pinks, blues, purples. It's got like a couple different shades of pink. And this is my second sock, so I've already seen that it turns out really beautifully. I like what the color does around the sock. But yeah, this yarn I actually bought at Maryland Sheep and Wool in 2008, and then it sat in my stash all this time. So that's 6 years. It just sat there, and I really didn't know what to do with it. But socks are perfect because it's really loud. Like, I'm not gonna wear I think that I really like to make lace shawls, but any lace pattern would be lost in the busyness of the yarn. The loudness of the colors doesn't bother me. It's the contrast between the blue and the pink. It's just so kind of jarring that I wouldn't want it in any kind of complicated stitch at all. So the Jaywalker, because it's just a straight up chevron, is making these really, really nice lines of the color. Well, you can see that pretty well. So despite my wonky needles, I'm super happy with it. I've been knitting on it in the car. And I think that's it for us with projects, what we're working on, what we finished.
Yep, I think that's it for today.
So you can find more of our projects and talk to us, ask us questions. We want to hear from you, and we want to talk to you.
Yes.
We're chatty.
Come chat with us.
We want to, on our Ravelry group. You can also subscribe via iTunes or YouTube, or just keep coming back to the blog. The videos will always be there. The website is handmadepodcast.com, and you can search for Handmade Podcast in anything you use to watch your podcasts. And find us on Ravelry, chat with us, and let us know what you'd like to hear about, what questions you have, what are your favorite sock needles. We will probably be talking about this again and again. So thank you so much for watching.
Yes, thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.